The transport ship shook as it approached Void Station. Its engines fought against the pull of the nearby black hole. Inside the prisoner hold, Kang felt his stomach turn. The heavy metal cuffs bit into his wrists. "Final stop, human," said the guard. He was tall with blue skin and 4 eyes. "Welcome to your new home. Forever home." Kang said nothing. 6 months ago, he had been Earth's top diplomat. His job was to help Earth join the Galactic Council. Then something went wrong. The aliens said he committed crimes against galactic harmony. Kang knew the truth. They feared humans. They always had. The ship docked with a hard bang. Doors opened, and guards pulled Kang to his feet. The gravity hit him like a wall. It was at least twice Earth's pull. Kang's legs shook, but he forced himself to walk. He would not be dragged. "Look at him struggle," laughed one guard. "Humans are so weak. I give him 2 weeks." The prison was a massive ring of metal and stone orbiting the edge of a black hole. The walls were dark gray. The air smelled stale. Prisoners of many shapes and sizes watched as guards marched Kang through long hallways. Some had scales. Others had too many limbs. All looked tired and broken. They stopped at a small cell. Inside was a creature with 6 limbs and reptile-like skin. The guard pushed Kang in and closed the door. "New meat," said the reptile creature in a raspy voice. "I am Ta. Been here 3 cycles." He pointed to marks on the wall. "My last cellmate lasted only 2. Kang sat on the empty bed frame. "I'm Kang. Human." "I know what a human is," said Ta. His tongue flicked out. Soft. No claws. No natural armor. "You people need machines to survive. You won't last here." Kang looked around the cell. It was 8 steps long and 6 steps wide. 1 toilet. No windows. The only light came from a panel in the ceiling. "What did you do to get here?" asked Kang. Tai laughed. "I built ships that could hide from Council sensors. What about you, human?" "They say I threatened the Council. I was just trying to negotiate fair terms for Earth." "Ah," Ta nodded. "You discovered something they didn't want you to know." A loud bell rang. Prisoners moved into the halls. "Work time," said Ta. "Best follow me if you want to eat tonight. You need gravity credits." "Gravity credits." Ta pointed to a small device on his wrist. "We all have these. You work, you get credits. No credits, they move your cell closer to the black hole. More gravity, less time. It kills you slowly." Kang felt his own wrist. The same device had been locked there during processing. They joined a line of prisoners. Guards pushed them into a large open area filled with machines. The room hummed with energy. "Processing plant," explained Ta. "We refine particles created by the black hole. Very valuable. Very dangerous." A tall, crystal-like being watched from a platform above. Its body shimmered with internal light. "That's Warden Da," Ta whispered. "Made of living crystal. Can connect to any system in the prison. Sees everything." Kang was assigned to a sorting station. The gravity was even stronger here. His arms felt like lead as he worked. Sweat soaked his prison uniform. Other new prisoners groaned in pain, some unable to stand. But Kang kept working. Hours later, when the shift ended, Tai looked at Kang with new interest. "You're still standing. Interesting. Most new ones can't handle the gravity on day 1. Kang wiped his brow. "Earth has different gravity zones. I trained in the heavy ones." This was a lie. But Kang had learned long ago that seeming weaker than you are had advantages. Back in their cell, Tai spoke quietly. "Listen, human. No one survives this place. 5 cycles is the record. The gravity breaks your body. The isolation breaks your mind." Kang lay on his hard bed, muscles screaming in pain. "There's always a first," he said. Tai made a sound like stones rubbing together. Kang realized it was laughter. "I like you, human. Too bad you'll be dead soon." Kang closed his eyes. His mind was already mapping the prison layout, noting guard patterns, studying weaknesses. They thought humans were weak. They were wrong. A week passed. Kang's muscles hurt less now. He moved more easily in the heavy gravity. Each day, he worked at the processing plant. Each night, he made mental notes about the prison. "You adapt fast," said Todd one morning. "Most new ones are still crying by now." Kang shrugged. "I'm just trying to survive." The truth was more complex. Kang had been a soldier before becoming a diplomat. He knew how to study enemy territory. And this prison was now enemy territory. At breakfast, they sat in the large eating hall. The food was a gray paste. It tasted like nothing but kept them alive. Kang watched as prisoners formed small groups. "Tell me about the groups," said Kang. Todd pointed with one of his 6 limbs. "See the big ones with shell backs. They control work Area B. The tall, thin ones with 3 eyes run Area C. The small red ones are the worst. They'll cut you for your gravity credits." "And who runs our area?" "No one right now. The last boss died 3 days before you came." Kang nodded. This was useful information. After breakfast, they went to work. Today, Kang was moved to a new station. Here, the strange black particles from near the black hole were sorted by size. The particles seemed to float and dance in the air. Something odd happened. When Kang's hand passed near the particles, they moved differently. They seemed drawn to him. No one else noticed. Kang filed this away in his mind. A guard approached. "Prisoner Kang, Warden wants to see you." Tai made a low whistle. "Bad news, human. No one sees the warden unless there's trouble." Guards took Kang to a large round room at the center of the prison. Warden Dai stood there, body glowing with inner light. Up close, the crystal being was even more strange. Kang could see through parts of its body. "Human," said Dai. The voice seemed to come from everywhere. "You are adapting well. Unusual." Kang kept his face blank. "Just trying to earn my credits, Warden. Your kind is not common here." The last human died quickly. Dab moved closer. "What makes you different?" "Nothing," said Kang. "I'm just an ordinary human." Da's crystal body pulsed with light. "We shall see. Your cell will be moved tomorrow. Level 3, closer to the core. The gravity is 2.5 times your Earth normal." Kang knew this was a test. The warden was trying to break him faster. "As you wish," he said. Back at work, Kang noticed a small prisoner being pushed around by 3 larger ones. They were taking the small one's food card. "That's June," said Ta. "Always getting into trouble. The guards won't help. They enjoy the show." The small prisoner, June, looked scared. His 4-fingered hands shook as the bigger prisoners laughed. Kang studied the situation. Getting involved meant risk. Staying out of it was safer. But Kang needed allies, not just information. He walked over. "Problem here." The 3 big prisoners turned. One had spikes along his arms. "Mind your business, human. This is between us and the little mind reader." "He stole food," said another. June shook his head. "I didn't steal. I found it." Kang stepped between them. "He says he found it. Let him go." The spiked one laughed. "What will you do, soft skin?" Kang didn't answer with words. When the spiked prisoner reached for him, Kang moved fast. He used the heavy gravity to pull the attacker down, adding force to his punch. The spiked one fell hard. The other 2 backed away, surprised. "Anyone else?" asked Kang. His voice was calm. They grabbed their fallen friend and left. June looked up at Kang with large, blinking eyes. "Thank you. Why did you help?" "Everyone needs someone to watch their back," said Kang. "I'm Kang. I'm June. I can help you too." "How?" June tapped his head. "I can feel what others think sometimes. Not all thoughts, but enough. I can warn you about danger." "A useful skill," thought Kang. Good to meet you, June. That night in their cell, Tai was quiet for a long time. Finally, he spoke. You helped the telepath. Made enemies, but maybe made friends too. Interesting choice for a newcomer. Kang lay on his bed. Like you said, no one survives alone in this place. True, said Ta, but no one survives at all. Kang smiled in the darkness. We'll see about that. Kang's new cell on level 3 was smaller than his old one. The higher gravity made his bones ache. Ta had come with him. The reptile seemed impressed that Kang could still walk normally. Most would be crawling by now, said Ta. 3 days after moving, Jun found them during lunch break. I need to show you something, said the small telepath. His large eyes darted around. Not here. Follow me. They followed Jun through narrow hallways to a small storage room. The door looked broken, but it was a trick. Jun pushed it in a special way, and it opened. Inside, 3 other prisoners waited. One was tall and seemed made of rock. Another looked like fog inside a special suit. The third had scales and big eyes. This is Kang, said Jun. He saved me from the Spike Gang. The rock-like prisoner spoke first. I am Bin, engineering specialist, imprisoned for creating Bandai. The fog beam's voice came from a speaker on its suit. Mun gas form life. I can move through small spaces. The scaled one nodded. Hyun, former pilot, stole from military ships. Kang studied them. Why am I here? Bin stepped forward. Jun says you plan to escape. Kang looked at Jun sharply. The telepath tapped his head. I didn't read your thoughts on purpose. They're just loud. No one escapes Void Station, said Kang carefully. That's what they all say, Hyun replied. But you don't really believe it. We've been watching you. You map the prison in your head. You count guard steps. You time the security systems. Kang was silent. These were dangerous observations. Mun's suit hummed. We want to help. And be helped. Why trust me? Asked Kang. I'm new. Because you're different, said Bin. You adapt to the gravity faster than any species I've seen. You fight well. You make smart choices. We've been planning too, said Hyun. For 2 cycles. We have information you need. Kang thought for a moment. Working alone was safer in some ways. But their skills could be useful. What information? Bin pulled out a small device from a hidden pocket. It showed a basic map of the prison. Guard rotation schedules. Door codes for levels 1 to 4. And this. He pointed to a section near the prison core. Emergency ships. For evacuation if the station fails. Kang studied the map. How did you get this? I built parts of this prison, said Bin. Before I was a prisoner. I remember things. I can access small spaces, added Mun. I've seen more of this prison than the guards know. And I know how to fly anything, said Hyun. Even emergency craft. It was a good start, thought Kang. But not enough. The problem isn't just knowing the layout, said Kang. It's the security systems. The warden can see everything. Not everything, said Jun. There are blind spots. Places where the crystal can't reach. This was interesting. Show me. For the next hour, they talked. Each shared what they knew. Kang was careful not to reveal his discovery about the black particles. Not yet. Trust needed time. When they finished, Kang had a better picture of the prison. The others watched him, waiting. Well, asked Vin, are we working together? There's something else you should know, said Kang. They've moved me to level 3 already. The warden is watching me. Working with me is dangerous. Mun's fog shifted inside its suit. We're all dead anyway. The average survival time is 5 cycles. I've been here for 4. Kang nodded. All right, we work together. But we need more information. And we need to be careful. Do you really think we can escape? Asked Hyun. Yes, said Kang simply. The others looked at each other. Hope was dangerous in Void Station, but Kang spoke with such certainty. Then we're with you, said Bin. For now. Back in their cell that night, Tai seemed thoughtful. You've joined with the misfits, he said. Interesting choice. What about you? Asked Kang. Are you in? Tai's scales rippled. Humans are strange. You believe you can do impossible things. It's foolish. He paused. But sometimes foolish is all we have. Yes, human. I'm in. Kang smiled as he lay down to sleep. 6 allies now. It was a beginning. 2 weeks after forming their alliance, Kang was moved to the deep processing area. This was where the most valuable black particles were sorted. The gravity here was even stronger. Many prisoners couldn't work here for more than 1 hour before needing rest. Kang had been chosen because he kept surprising the guards with his strength. They wanted to see how far they could push him. Be careful down there, Tai had warned. The particles are stranger near the core. Kang stood at his new workstation. The room was dark except for the glow of the particles. They floated in special containers, pulsing with energy. Guards watched from behind thick glass. As Kang sorted the particles, he noticed again how they moved differently when near his hands. When no one was looking, he let his fingers get closer. The particles followed his movements. Kang glanced around. No one was watching him directly. He concentrated on a small group of particles. In his mind, he imagined them forming a simple shape, a small cube. The particles moved. They formed a rough cube shape. Kang's heart beat faster, but he kept his face calm. He let the particles return to normal before anyone noticed. During break time, he found a corner where cameras couldn't see well. He took a tiny particle he had hidden in his sleeve. He concentrated again. The particle stretched, hardened, and formed a small, sharp edge, like a tiny knife. Kang smiled. This could change everything. Over the next few days, Kang tested his new ability when no one was watching. He learned that he could shape the particles for about 10 minutes before they returned to normal. The bigger the shape, the less time it lasted. But why did they respond to him? None of the other prisoners seemed to have this effect. One day, Kang was working when a guard called him. Human. Special task. Follow me. Kang was led to a small lab. Inside was Warden Da, glowing as always. Prisoner Kang, said the crystal being. You continue to adapt well to our gravity. Just trying to survive, Warden. Indeed. Da moved closer. Our scientists have a theory about humans. They'd wish to test it. A scientist stepped forward. He had 4 arms and a wide head. We need a blood sample, said the scientist. Kang hesitated. This could be dangerous. If they discovered his connection to the particles, they might isolate him or worse. Is this optional? He asked. No, said Da. The scientist took Kang's blood. He put a drop on a special plate and added a black particle to it. The reaction was immediate. The particle began to spin and glow brighter. Fascinating, said the scientist. The human bioelectric field creates a resonance effect, just as we thought. Da's crystal body flashed with light. This explains much. Humans have a natural connection to the particles. Kang kept his face blank, but his mind raced. This was valuable information. What does this mean? He asked, pretending not to understand. It means, said Da, that we must watch you more carefully. Back in the cell block, Kang found Jun waiting. The guards are talking about you, said the telepath. They're scared. Why? They say humans are dangerous, that you can control the particles. Kang pulled Jun into an empty corner. Did you tell the others about this? No. I came straight to you. Good. Get everyone to our meeting place tonight. I have important news. That night, the group gathered in their hidden spot. Kang explained what he had learned. I can shake the particles with my mind. They respond to human bioelectric fields. He demonstrated by forming a small particle into a key shape. Can you make weapons? Asked Hyun. Small ones, yes, but they don't last long. About 10 minutes. Bin stepped forward. This changes everything. With this ability, you could disable security systems temporarily, or create tools we need, added Mun. Ta seemed troubled. If the warden knows about this, they'll move you to isolation. Then we need to move quickly, said Kang, before they decide what to do with me. But we're not ready, said Bin. We still don't have a complete plan. Kang looked at each of them. We have something just as important. We have an ability they didn't plan for, and we have surprise. So what's next? Asked Hyun. We start planning our escape, said Kang. For real this time. As they talked into the night, none of them noticed the small camera hidden in the ceiling vent, or the fact that it was pointed directly at them. For the next week, Kang and his allies met in secret places around the prison. They spoke in whispers and used hand signs when they couldn't talk. Jun kept watch with his mind powers, feeling for any guards coming close. The prison has a maintenance cycle, explained Bin one night. He drew a simple map on the floor with his finger. Once every 60 days, they shut down parts of the security system. The next one is in 6 days. How long does it stay off? Asked Kang. Only 20 minutes, said Bin. They do it section by section. Kang thought about this. That's not much time. It's all we have, said Hyun. And we need to reach the emergency ships on level 1. The problem was huge. They were on level 3, deep in the prison. Level 1 was near the outer ring, far from the black hole's pull. Between them and freedom were guards, locked doors, and the warden's watchful eyes. But Kang had been studying the prison's routines. He had noticed something the others hadn't. The guards change shifts 3 times each day, he said, but not all at once. They follow a pattern. He tapped his head. I've been counting. There's a 5-minute window when the guard count is lowest. If the maintenance cycle happens during that time, we might have a chance, finished Ta. Meanwhile, Kang kept working with the particles in secret. He learned to make them into different shapes. Keys, small tools, even a thin rope once. But the shapes only lasted about 10 minutes before falling apart. The closer we get to level 1, the less time they'll hold shape, warned Kang. The particles act differently in lighter gravity. One day, Mun floated into their meeting place, the gas inside its suit moving quickly. Bad news, said Mun. They're moving Kang to a special cell. Tomorrow. Everyone looked at Kang. Isolation, asked Ta. Worse, said Mun. Research section. They want to study him. Silence fell over the group. The research section was the most secure area of the prison. No one had ever escaped from there. Then we move tonight, said Kang. His voice was calm, but his eyes were hard. Tonight. Bin stood up. But the maintenance cycle isn't for 5 more days. We have no choice, said Kang. Once I'm in research, I can't help you. They argued for a while. Bin thought it was too risky. Hyun wasn't sure. But in the end, they agreed. It was now or never. We need to gather what we can, said Kang. Mun, can you get into the tool storage? Yes, said the gas being. But the tools are counted each night. We only need them for a few hours, said Kang. And we need everyone to be in position when night cycle begins. They spent the next few hours preparing. Kang collected small particles from his work area, hiding them in his clothes. Ta used his strength to loosen a metal pipe from the bathroom. Bin memorized all the door codes he knew. Jun practiced stretching his mind powers to feel for guards from farther away. When they met again, just before night cycle, Kang shared the final plan. We move in 3 groups, he said. Mun and Bin go first. Clear the path through the vents. Hyun and Jun follow, watching for guards. Ta and I come last. What about the high-gravity sections? Asked Hyun. Some areas between here and level 1 have crushing gravity. Kang nodded. That's where being human helps. I can handle the gravity better than expected. I'll carry the particles we need to disable the doors. Bin looked worried. If this fails, we die, said Ta simply. But we die anyway, staying here. As they prepared to leave, Jun suddenly gasped. His eyes went wide. Guards. Coming now. They know. Kang made a quick decision. Change of plan. We go now. Together. Run. They rushed from their hiding place just as alarms began to sound throughout the prison. Red lights flashed in the hallways. A voice boomed over the speakers. It was Warden Da. Attention all guards. Prisoners escaping on level 3. Capture the human alive. Kill the others if necessary. Kang looked at his friends, fear in their eyes. Stay close, he said, and trust me. The 6 prisoners ran through the red-lit hallways of level 3. Alarms screamed around them. Kang led the way, with Ta close behind. The others followed. Guards coming from the left, warned Jun, his eyes closed as he used his mind powers. Kang quickly changed direction. He pulled out a small black particle from his pocket. Focusing his mind, he shaped it into a thin, flat tool. He slid it into the door locked beside them. The door clicked open, and they rushed inside. They had entered a storage room. Boxes lined the walls. How did they know about our plan? Asked Hyun, breathing hard. Kang looked at each of them. Someone had talked. But who? It doesn't matter now, he said. We need to reach the emergency lift. It can take us to level 2. The lift will be guarded, said Bin. I have an idea, said Kang. He turned to Mun. Can you move through the air ducts to the lift controls? The gas-being suit hummed. Yes. What do you need? Disable the camera there. We'll create a distraction to draw the guards away. Mun opened a small port on its suit. Gas flowed out and disappeared into a vent in the wall. The suit stood empty. While they waited, Kang noticed Bin moving away from the group. The rock-like prisoner was standing near the door, listening. Everything okay? Asked Kang. Bin nodded too quickly. Fine. Just watching for guards. Something wasn't right. Kang looked at Jun, who was frowning as he focused on Bin. Suddenly, Jun's eyes flew open. He's going to. Before Jun could finish, Bin threw open the door and shouted, Guards! They're in here. Tom moved faster than Kang had ever seen. The reptile tackled Bin, sending them both crashing into the hallway. The sounds of fighting followed. Run! Shouted Ta from outside. I'll hold them. Kang hesitated for only a second. Then he grabbed Jun and Hyun. This way, he said, pointing to a small door at the back of the room. Service tunnel. They rushed through just as guards burst into the storage room. Behind them, they heard Ta roaring as he fought. The service tunnel was narrow and dark. The gravity was much stronger here, pulling them down hard. Hyun struggled to move. Jun could barely stand. I can't, gasped Hyun. Kang pulled out more particles. He shaped them into a shield-like form and pushed it under Hyun's body. This will help for a few minutes, he said. The particles can push against gravity. They moved forward, slowly. The tunnel seemed to go on forever. The only light came from emergency lamps on the floor. Why did Bin betray us? Asked Jun, his voice weak from the gravity. Early release, probably, said Kang. Or better treatment. What about Ta? Asked Hyun. And Mun. Kang didn't answer. He needed to focus on getting them out. After what seemed like hours, they reached a junction in the tunnel. The gravity was even stronger here. Jun collapsed. I can't go on, he said. My body. Kang knelt beside him. Yes, you can. Humans have a saying. The mind is stronger than the body. But I'm not human, whispered Jun. Neither are the guards, said Kang. And they can't follow us here. The gravity would crush them. That's our advantage. Using more particles, Kang created a small platform under Jun. It glowed softly, pushing against the heavy gravity. This won't last long, said Kang. We need to move. They continued through the tunnel. At one point, it opened into a large shaft that went straight up. A maintenance ladder was bolted to the wall. That leads to level 2, said Hyun. "But we'll never climb it in this gravity." Kang studied the shaft. Then he pulled out all his remaining particles. There were 12 in total. He concentrated harder than he ever had before. The particles stretched and joined together, forming a long rope with hooks on each end. "Grab hold," said Kang, attaching one hook to his belt. "I'm going to climb. The particles will help carry your weight." They looked at him with doubt. "Trust me," said Kang. "Human muscles evolved on a planet with changing gravity. We're stronger than we look." As they attached themselves to the particle rope, a sound came from the tunnel behind them. Heavy footsteps. "Hurry," urged Kang. He began to climb the ladder. The gravity pulled at him like a giant hand trying to drag him down. His muscles burned. Sweat poured from his body. But he kept climbing, one rung at a time, pulling Jung and Hyun with him. Behind them, voices echoed in the tunnel. Guards were coming. "They're in the main shaft. Don't let them reach level 2. Kang climbed faster. Kang pulled himself over the edge of the shaft onto level 2. His arms shook with effort. He helped Jung and Hyun climb up after him. The particle rope he had made was starting to break apart. "We made it," said Hyun, breathing hard. "Not yet," said Kang. "This is still level 2. We need to reach level 1. They were in a narrow hallway. The gravity was lighter here, but still strong. Red alarm lights flashed all around them. The prison was on full alert. Jun closed his eyes, using his powers. Guards are searching everywhere, and something else. The warden is moving. "Moving where?" asked Kang. "To the core, the center of the prison." Kang frowned. The core was where the prison's main systems were controlled. If the warden was going there, it wasn't good news. "We need to move fast," said Kang. "Which way to level 1? Hyun pointed down the hall. "That way. But we can't just walk there. Every guard in the prison is looking for us." Kang thought for a moment. Then he noticed a panel on the wall. It had warning signs all over it. "What's behind there?" he asked. Han's eyes widened. "The particle flow chamber. It connects to the core. But no one goes in there. The raw particles would kill most species." "Most species," said Kang. "But maybe not humans." Before they could argue, Kang pulled out his last particles. He shaped them into a small cutter and sliced through the panel locks. The panel swung open, revealing a glowing blue tunnel. "This leads to the core?" asked Kang. "Yes," said Hyun. "But from there, we'd still need to find a way up to level 1. "One problem at a time," said Kang. He looked at his friends. "I don't know if you can survive in there. The particles might harm you." Jun stepped forward. "We have no choice. I'd rather die trying to escape than be caught." Hyun nodded in agreement. They entered the tunnel. Inside, raw black particles floated everywhere. They swirled around the escapees like curious animals. Kang felt a strange tingling on his skin. The particles seemed drawn to him, forming a kind of shield around his body. "They're protecting you," said Jun in wonder. "But not us. It hurts." Kang saw that Jun and Hyun were in pain. The particles were burning their skin. "Stay close to me," said Kang. He concentrated, extending his particle shield to cover them too. It helped, but not completely. They needed to move quickly. The tunnel sloped downward, toward the core. As they walked, Kang felt the strange pull of the black hole nearby. Time itself seemed to move differently here. After 10 minutes of walking, they reached a large round chamber. This was the core. In the center stood a pillar of swirling particles, and next to it was Warden Da. The crystal being's body glowed brighter than ever. Parts of it were connected to the pillar by streams of light. "Human," said Da. The voice echoed all around them. "I knew you would come this way." Kang pushed Jun and Hyun behind him. "Let us pass, Warden." "Impossible," said Da. "You are too valuable. Your connection to the particles is unique. We must study it." "I am not your test subject," said Kang. Da's body pulsed with light. You don't understand. This prison exists to study the particles. The punishment of criminals is secondary. When we discovered humans could manipulate the particles, we arranged for some to be sent here. Kang felt cold anger rise in him. You framed me. The crimes against the council were necessary, finished Da, for the greater good. Suddenly, alarms began to sound, different from before. A computer voice spoke. Warning. Black hole proximity alert. Gravity shield failing on lower levels. Emergency evacuation protocol activated. Day turned to the pillar, distracted. The crystal being's body pulsed rapidly. No. The containment field is breaking down. The chamber shook. Panels fell from the ceiling. The black particles swirled faster, more violently. Kang saw their chance. The evacuation, he said to his friends. Emergency ships will be preparing to launch. We need to reach the upper level now. He looked around and saw an emergency ladder on the far wall. It led up to a hatch marked Level 1 Access. There, he pointed. As they ran for the ladder, Dad noticed them. Stop. The warden sent a pulse of energy at them. Kang pushed his friends aside, taking the hit directly. Pain shot through his body, but he stayed standing. Go, he shouted to Jun and Hyun. Climb. They scrambled up the ladder. Kang turned to face Da one last time. You can't escape the black hole, said the warden. None of us can now. Watch me, said Kang. He ran for the ladder as the core began to collapse around them. Kang climbed the ladder as fast as he could. Behind him, the core chamber was falling apart. The black hole's pull was getting stronger. He could feel it trying to drag him back down. When he reached the top, Jun and Hyun helped pull him through the hatch. They were now on level 1. The gravity was much lighter here, almost normal. We made it, said Jun. His voice was weak, and his skin looked burned from the particles. Not yet, said Kang. We need to find the emergency ships. The hallway they were in was wide and clean, unlike the lower levels. This was where the guards and staff lived. Now it was filled with people running in panic. Alarms blared overhead. Emergency evacuation in progress. All personnel report to Hangar Bay. Hyun smiled. They're telling us exactly where to go. They joined the crowd of rushing guards and staff. No one looked at them closely. Everyone was too busy trying to save themselves. The hangar bay was a large room filled with small ships. People were climbing aboard, pushing and shoving. There, said Hyun, pointing to a small ship near the far wall. That one's almost empty. They moved toward it. Suddenly, a group of guards stepped in front of them. Stop, said the lead guard. Prisoners stay behind. Kang looked around. They were trapped. Then he felt something strange. The floor beneath them was vibrating. The black hole, he whispered. It's pulling the station apart. The guards looked nervous. One of them spoke into a communicator. Sir, we have the escaped prisoners. What should we do? A voice answered. It was Warden Da. Bring the human. Leave the others. The guards reached for Kang. But before they could grab him, the floor shook violently. A crack opened up, separating Kang and his friends from the guards. The guards fell back, shouting in fear. Now, yelled Kang. They ran for the ship. Inside, they found 2 crew members preparing for launch. They looked up in surprise. Who are you? Asked one. This is a staff ship. Hyun stepped forward. I'm your pilot now. He moved quickly, pushing the confused crew member aside. His hands flew over the controls. Get in, he told Kang and Jun. Strap yourselves down. The other crew member tried to stop them. Kang found a few particles still clinging to his clothes. He shaped them into a small blade. Don't, he warned. The crew member backed away. The ship's engines roared to life. Outside, the hangar bay doors were opening. Other ships were already leaving. Hold on, said Hyun. This will be rough. The ship rose from the floor and turned toward the doors. But before they could fly out, a bright light filled the hangar. It was Warden Da. The crystal being had somehow reached level 1. Its body was damaged, parts of it missing, but it still glowed with power. "You will not escape," said Da. The warden's voice boomed through the hangar. "The council must know what humans can do with the particles." Beams of energy shot from Da's body, hitting ships and walls. Some ships exploded. The hangar began to break apart. "Go!" shouted Kang. Hyun pushed the engines to full power. The ship shot forward, toward the doors. Da sent a powerful beam directly at them. Kang saw it coming. Without thinking, he concentrated on the few particles still around him. They formed a thin shield in front of the ship. The beam hit the shield. For a second, it held. Then both the shield and the beam disappeared. Their ship burst through the hangar doors into open space. Behind them, the prison was breaking up. Chunks of it were being pulled toward the black hole. "We did it," said June. "We escaped." But Kang wasn't celebrating. He looked back at the dying prison. "What about Todd?" he asked. "And Mun?" No one answered. They all knew the truth. Their friends had been left behind. Hyun guided the ship away from the black hole's pull. Once they were safe, he set a course. "Where to?" he asked. "Anywhere but here," said Kang. He was thinking about what Dai had said, about humans and particles, about the council's lies. As stars streaked past the windows, Kang made a silent promise to his lost friends. This wasn't over. 3 days after their escape, Kang, June, and Hyun reached a small trading outpost on the edge of Galactic Council space. The outpost was built on an asteroid and was home to many species who preferred to stay away from Council rules. Their stolen ship was almost out of fuel. They landed in a quiet dock area where no one asked questions. "We need to split up," said Kang as they left the ship. "The Council will be looking for us." June's face showed sadness. His telepathic powers had grown stronger since their escape. "I can feel searchers already. Ships are coming this way." "How long do we have?" asked Hyun. "A few hours, maybe less." They found a small, dark bar where they could talk without being noticed. The place was filled with rough-looking aliens. No one looked at them twice. "What will you do now?" Kang asked his friends. Hyun sipped a blue drink. "I know people who can help me disappear. Pilot skills are always needed in the outer systems." "And you?" Kang asked June. The small telepath touched his head. "There are others like me. A hidden colony. I will find them." Kang nodded. He would miss them, but splitting up was safer for everyone. "What about you, human?" asked Hyun. "Where will you go?" "Home," said Kang simply. "To Earth. They need to know the truth. The truth about the particles. About why humans were kept from joining the Council. Yes, all of it." They sat in silence for a while. Then June spoke, his voice soft. "There's something I haven't told you. Something I saw in the warden's mind before the prison collapsed." Kang and Hyun leaned closer. "The Council didn't just want to study humans," said June. "They feared you. All humans, because of your connection to the particles." "Why?" asked Kang. "What's so special about it? The particles are not just energy. They're older than our universe. The Council has been studying them for centuries. They can reshape reality itself with enough control." Kang thought about how he could shape the particles with his mind. "And humans have natural control," he said. "Yes," said June. "That's why Earth was kept isolated. Why they created stories about humans being violent and dangerous. They wanted to keep your kind away from the particles." The news hit Kang hard. His wrongful imprisonment, the lies about Earth, it was all to prevent humans from learning their true potential. "I need proof," said Kang. "Something to take back to Earth." June touched Kang's head gently. "You have my memories. I give them freely. My people can share thoughts this way." Kang felt a rush of images flood his mind. He saw the warden's thoughts through June's eyes. The secret council meetings. the fear of what humans might become. "Thank you," said Kang. It was time to leave. They found shops where they could buy supplies. Hyun got them false identity chips. They would go their separate ways from here. Before parting, they stood together one last time. "What about Tai and Mun?" asked Hyun. "Do you think they?" Kang shook his head. "I don't know. But if anyone else could have survived, it would be them." June suddenly stiffened. His eyes went wide. "Council ships. They've just entered orbit." "Go," said Kang. "Now." They quickly grasped hands one last time, then ran in different directions. Kang found a small transport ship headed toward human space. He used the last of his credits to buy passage. As the ship lifted off, he looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the council was already hearing about the escaped human who broke out of Void Station. They would be afraid. They should be, thought Kang. In his pocket, he carried a small container. Inside were a few black particles he had collected during their escape. They pulsed with energy, responding to his presence. On Earth, scientists would study them. Humans would learn what they could really do. And then they would return to council space, not as beggars seeking membership, but as equals, or more. "No one survives that prison," Kang whispered to himself, "except the human." And this was just the beginning.